So we've been talking about DWR coatings, which we've been putting on our bags so that water just runs off. So it's very obvious that the bags are weatherproof, which I think is important. Chemical coating that you put on fabric to give it that quality isn't that great for the environment. And I'm struggling a little bit with this topic because it's just very technical, and chemistry was like my worst subject in high school. So whenever I see drawings of molecules and compounds, I just kind of feel nervous about it, although I'm going to overcome that limiting belief and push through this. REI is one of our valued customers, and they're really encouraging all their suppliers to create a restricted materials list. And one of the things on that is the long chain PFAS. So the first thing I wanted to do was learn more about that. Fortunately, Outdoor Industry Association, OIA, partnered with REI to help those of us who don't know too much about this kind of get up to speed, see these long chains and what to do about it. The problem with this is, and I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but I actually don't know the chemistry of our DWR coating. With our factory, I told them that was one of the qualities I wanted on our fabric. And to increase it from last year, people were still like not seeing that water bead up and run off like they wanted to. And it's definitely doing that this year. But when I try to find out more information about whether we have this long chain or short chain version, I haven't been able to get a clear answer from my factory. So I reached out to Jessie Curry, who is at the Outdoor Industry Association, and she agreed to kind of walk me through this a little bit, and so we'll be talking to her. I'm back, new outfit, so you know it's a different day. I had a wonderful conversation with Jessie Curry from the OIA, and it turned out I didn't record any sound. So we had to scrap that. I went to China, talked to the factory about this DWR situation, got on the same page with the DWR family tree, and that's good. It turns out that we were using long chain DWR in our last production to have that higher water repellency effect, but we are going to be switching to short chain for future production runs. We still have this testing issue where I'm a very trusting person by nature, and it's gotten me into trouble a couple times throughout Po Campo's history, so now I'm definitely a trust but verify type of person. And because the DWR coating is invisible, I want to figure out a way for us to know exactly what kind of coating we're using, because I don't want somebody to show me a piece of paper that says one thing and then not be able to know what's in the final product. And it doesn't seem like there's common tests to test what it is, so that's a source of frustration for me. So today I'm going to have another call with Jessie from the OIA to give her an update on my DWR progress and to talk about some of these last little questions that I have. I went to China to talk about this amongst some other things, and the diagram of the DWR family tree actually really helps. We're frustrated because it doesn't seem like there's any tests, and there's so many other things to think about, and I kind of, this might not be the best attitude, but I kind of just want to cross it off my list. But I'm wondering if through any other conversations you've had with other people or other brands, how do other people verify that they're getting what they're asking for?
It's a great question, and you're not alone, I have to say. It's extremely difficult for most companies to get any information about, even with you should get information about the base chemistry, what is the majority, but beyond that, whether it's specific ingredients or, impurities in that formulation, it's really, really hard, if not impossible, for brands to have access to that information. a lot of brands, because of that limitation, just rely on what they're told and stop there. But another approach, which we typically recommend and we see that like leaders in the industry use, is leveraging those third-party organizations to do that kind of like dirty work and dig in deeper. So a company or service provider like bluesign, they have the ability to ask those suppliers, because of how they're positioned as a neutral party, kind of the trust they've built in the marketplace, most often they will get the cooperation that brands don't get. Any feedback from your experience, like I'm learning through your experience too, extremely helpful, especially because a lot of our work is with really large brands that do have testing facilities, or they are using the majority of certified materials.
I do think with sharing the family tree page, part of it was the diagram, but I also think part of it was having REI's logo on it, because I was telling them, like, you know, whenever customers is requesting this and for us to continue to grow our business with them, we need to do it. And they were kind of like, yeah. But then when they saw that and I pointed it out, they did take it more seriously. And I think it is one of those things where if doing this extra step will help grow my business and by extension their business, then they're more interested. Whereas if it's just kind of like something that I personally care about, then it's not as pressing, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. That is definitely like the purpose too of a lot of OIA tools, is to say these 20 brands helped develop this. That collaboration and united, like aligned perspective is definitely what we see move the needle on a lot of sustainability. Great. Thanks so much for reaching out, and look forward to staying in touch and kind of hopefully helping you cross off that item soon.
Yes. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Have a good afternoon.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, you too. Bye.
Despite home, I was thinking about the conversation that Jessie and I had about the DWR and testing for it. Of course, like always, I get my best ideas on my bike, and I'm really feeling like slowly transitioning to one of those third-party suppliers like bluesign makes sense for us, because we're small and need some help to do everything. I also want to take this opportunity to remind you to subscribe to this video series so that you can find out when we post new videos. Just hit that button below the screen and you'll be the first to know. We've got lots of stuff planned for this series.